I am a lawyer, I'm a wife, I'm a bonus mommy to an incredible little girl, and I am a tech founder. I've been practicing law for 13 years, and you're probably wondering how the heck a lawyer turned into a tech founder. In 13 years, I'd gone from making low five figures early in my career to almost mid six figures by the time I left corporate last year and pivoted to building my own law practice and my tech company. The reality is I was not burned out by the profession. I was burned out by the system. And even at the height of feeling like I could not keep going at the pace I was going at, it still wasn't an easy thing to walk away from. Hey everyone, I am planning on doing something a little brave, and I want you all to come along on this journey with me. But before I tell you what it is, let me introduce myself. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Patience. Yes, just like the word. I am a lawyer, I'm a wife, I'm a bonus mommy to an incredible little girl, and I am a tech founder. I've been practicing law for 13 years, and you're probably wondering how the heck a lawyer turned into a tech founder. Well, to be honest, when I think back on my life's journey, building a tech company was absolutely the natural progression for me. I've always been technically oriented and savvy, whether it was being the head of audiovisual at church or creating apps in my free time. Building and figuring out how things work has always been a hobby of mine. But that hobby has turned into a full-fledged company, a flagship product, and many other products underway. We created Midly Labs a couple of years ago, and it was created around the one product named Midly.ai. But we have since evolved. Midly means so much to me. It was born out of my own burnout season. I had heard many attorneys before me complain of the burnout, but until you're in it, it's so hard to truly appreciate the seriousness of what that means. In 13 years, I'd gone from making low five figures early in my career to almost mid six figures by the time I left corporate last year and pivoted to building my own law practice and my tech company. The reality is I was not burned out by the profession. I was burned out by the system. And even at the height of feeling like I could not keep going at the pace I was going at, it still wasn't an easy thing to walk away from. Financial motivation is a real thing. And maybe if I was single, I would have probably stayed a little longer and managed the burnout. Marriage, in a sense, gave me freedom, but that's a topic for another day. Even though by every outside measure, I was successful, success stopped being enough when I started watching my own health take a dive. Having no balance, being on a fast-moving hamster wheel, getting more work, growing responsibilities, all of that may be okay for some people. It just wasn't okay for me. And just to be clear, I didn't suddenly become lazy or lacked motivation. I wasn't looking for work-life balance in the way that I feel like a lot of Gen Zers and millennials think of it. What I was deeply yearning for was that what I brought to the table could be appreciated with more support for the work and not more work for me to support. So after years of asking for support, enough times, a lot of times, and what I kept getting was we don't have enough budget for that speech. Something had to give. And for me, the last straw was the toll it was taking on my health, both physically and also mentally, to be quite honest. And so first came the idea, then came the steps I had to take, and finally it was time to pivot. At the start of my burnout season, what I thought I needed was additional support in the form of more physical bodies, another attorney, a paralegal, help to support the massive workload that I felt like I was being buried underneath. But then my mindset started to evolve as I observed more than I reacted. I began to realize that this job would be easier and I could have more balance if the answer wasn't just another one of me to carry the workload. It stopped being about asking for more resources. I started to see that the flaw was in the system itself. I want for a second for you to think of an in-house legal team, which is where I worked in. I think about that role as like a triage center in a hospital where you have your doctors who have to engage with you to know what's happening in that triage center or what's happening in the hospital. Then you have the nursing staff who stay on track with your help as a triage staff person. Then you have the janitorial staff who will stop by from time to time just to chit chat and, shoot the shit, as they say at work. And all the while, this little triage center is meeting everyone, patients and staff, at the point of their need. And that is just simply the expectation. That is what you're expected to manage when you work in that triage center. You're working with people of varying degrees of understanding or lack thereof, varying degrees of what polite and courteous means, varying degrees of compassion, varying degrees of knowledge of the practice. And all the while, you are expected to meet their needs whenever you are called upon to do so. But what if the answer wasn't to keep staffing that triage center? What if it was to fix the mess made for the people working their hardest to keep everything afloat? I thought I could have a go at figuring it all out because fixing it had become really important to me as I was literally feeling like I was drowning. It became so clear to me that we needed more repeatable systems, something that brought the whole team into sync, a single workspace with roles and permissions that broke down the contracting process in an easily digestible and accessible way, that supported escalations while also keeping every deal visible across the organization. A triage system so that no one person was problem solver in chief. What I tasked myself with creating was a system that would let us collaborate better, be more proactive than reactive, close deals faster, and actually understand the risk at all levels of the organization instead of retroactively fixing issues. That was the premise behind the creation of Midly, and wow, has that come to life. I sit amazed a lot of times at what we have built. Today, Midly is a working product with live users. I use it in my own law practice, and we have built other products like LegacyDocs and Midly Draft. What this company is today beats my wildest imagination, and I could not be more proud of my team, of myself, and for everyone who has supported us on this journey. Which brings me to our next big goal. The one that scares me a little and forces me to be brave. Scares me a little because I don't think we're quite ready yet. And also because whoever is truly ready for the next big move. The goal is closing our first enterprise customer deal by the end of 2026. And we are less than 130 days away. And the question is, can we do it? This may be a lofty goal, but nothing is ever gained through an absence of effort. So let's go.